All right. Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir tout le monde. I'm going to say a few words in French and then we'll jump right in. Ce soir, nous avons une invitée spéciale avec nous, une personne qui est ultra inspirante et surtout très généreuse de sa personne. Je suis tellement heureuse de pouvoir l'accueillir pour une deuxième fois dans un appel d'équipe. So, Autumn, I was just saying how excited and blessed I feel to have you on the call once again. Before we get started, I just want to acknowledge you for being so generous and giving. You're doing so much for the coaching community, but for so many people, and really, I'm just very, very thankful to have you once again. And I'm going to share one quote that I was thinking about. I was telling my husband about. I was thinking about that quote from Calabrese, who says that you give but little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. And I feel like you're such a giver. And guys, I asked her to be on the call, and she was like, "Can you do this time?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It was really, really nice of you to jump on. So. Obviously, everybody's fired up here about ADD Obsession. We're all like freaking excited. Getting the meal plan yesterday and getting to know, the documents and how everything is going to play off. And also watching the weekly Obsession. I was super emotional listening to that. I was going through the whole process again. Mm-hmm. So I know you've been getting like a million questions about the meal plan, and we did address some. No, not at all. Some of them on a call that I did today, and then shared some of your videos that you did. So, but like if we can just like talk a bit generally about the whole concept of ADD Obsession and why in the first place you decided to create that program.
Yeah, so obviously, first of all, thank you guys for having me on. Thanks for being patient because I know last week I was very under the weather, and so thank you for letting me reschedule. So look, 80-day obsession, here's the thing. Whenever we create workouts at Beachbody, 9 times out of 10, at least all of my programs, their original concept comes from Carl. That comes from our CEO, right? So whether he's got a whiteboard or a black book, I don't know, but he's got them, or they're just stored in his brain. He has like all these ideas of things that he wants to create. Sometimes he's thinking about just like what's missing from our catalog, what will round it out more, what fits well with what trainer. So 80-day obsession, the idea was presented to me 2 years ago. It was presented at this time as another program was presented to me, which was a country dance program. So obviously one became Country Heat and the other one became 80-day Obsession. And really the only thing that was asked was for a button abs program. And which is funny, right? Because he's like, oh, this is like a thing. Everybody's worried about their butt and everybody's worried about their abs. So how do you feel about doing that? And I was like, great, because for me as a trainer, when I'm given such a broad sort of idea, it lets me do what I love to do, which is to really create a program that is going to be effective for hopefully the masses. And when he said button abs, I know his thought was like, that's the sort of catchphrase. Everybody wants a shredded core. Everybody wants a nice lifted butt. But for me as a trainer, I look at it as, well, it's great because these are foundational muscles, right? Like these are important muscles in our body that do a lot for us. The glutes propel us throughout our day. They are what propel us when we walk and when we run, when we climb stairs and sit down and stand up. And our core literally supports us in every single thing that we do. And for most people, these muscle groups aren't working the way they're supposed to anymore. They're what we sort of deem turned off. They don't fire. The mind-body connection isn't there. We sit on our butts all day, and we are on our phones and on our computers, so we slouch and we don't have good, proper posture. So the core muscles aren't engaged. So by creating a program that focuses significantly on re-engaging these muscles and retraining these muscles, one, it's a functional program, meaning our bodies are just going to function better. We're going to move better. We're going to be in less pain throughout the day because we're not going to be dealing with back issues and hip issues and knee issues and everything else that we feel when our muscles don't fire properly. And when I was creating the program, I really thought about the equipment that I wanted, and I didn't want to just use weights. I wanted to include weights, but I wanted some other stuff, being the loops and the sliders, and not just because it's fun and it's fancy and it looks different, but because those two pieces of equipment, although are small, they are mighty. They do a lot for us in really targeting a muscle and isolating a muscle so that we can get that mind-body connection in a way that you can't always get when you're just using weights. So if that muscle isn't firing, it doesn't matter how heavy of weights you grab. If that muscle isn't firing properly, it's not going to move properly. So one, you're either going to end up injured or at least you're just not going to get maximum result out of it because it's not firing the way it's supposed to. So for me, it was really exciting to be able to help people in that way and say like, great, you're going to have a great looking butt and you're going to have a great looking core. But more importantly, I think you're going to move better and you're going to feel better. And obviously feeling good about the way you look comes along with it. So it was sort of like a win-win for the program.
Yeah, totally. And it's true that, the good looking body is just a byproduct of us being more functional and being able to utilize our muscle and function in a better way. And one of the things that I was so impressed with is like, we usually want to like go and lift heavy or do those, I don't know, like maybe crazy sounding moves, but with the bands, man, guys, seriously, you're going to do those tiny little moves. You're not going to move so much and you're going to be like, this is crazy. It's like I was targeting a whole new set of muscles that I was not aware of. And definitely for me, the butt transformation was something very impressive. And we're so like stuck on like you said, like lifting heavy weights, or you were even mentioning that, like, squatting like 100 pounds and all that stuff. And then you realize that if you're just working the muscles in the proper way and really targeting it, you can totally transform your body. So thanks.
I'll tell you this really quick. In all my years of training, and for myself, it's funny because before I became a fitness competitor, I always had a really good butt. Okay. Like it runs in my family. We have fairly well-rounded.
Those Italian genes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And then I became a fitness competitor and somehow lost my butt, which is like the most important thing in the bikini division. But it was like I revved my metabolism up so much and I cleaned my diet up so much that the fat wasn't going there anymore. And I was like, oh my God, I lost my butt. How do I get it back? And in all my years of squatting heavy and lunging and step ups and everything else, I have gotten more shape, more growth, more definition, more activation in my glutes from 80-day obsession than any other workout I've ever done. And because I have so many injuries, I have a lot of old injuries from being a dancer, hip injuries, knee, like ankle injuries. So I'm already out of alignment. I'm already like fighting a battle that some aren't fighting. So for me, that mind-body connection in some ways is harder for me because my hips aren't even. So getting my left glute to fire the way my right glute does, or getting my right leg to balance the way my left leg does, it's really hard for me. And by introducing the bands, I've been able to do so much more for myself. And that is always something I do. Whenever I create the programs, I'm running the workouts and the moves on myself long before they ever hit a test group. And I'm manipulating them and trying again and really working to see what is going to work the best for everybody.
Well, it shows, because obviously I was so impressed throughout the whole 80-day obsession. How can she keep talking the whole time? I'm like dying on the floor. Like, so thanks for mentioning that, because some of you guys are going to be telling yourself the same thing. You're going to be like, how is she talking? Like, you've been testing it for a while first, right?
Yes. And honestly, I will also throw a little love and light to Country Heat, because talking while you dance, I had already done, I did Country Heat the year before. So I'm very cardio trained in terms of being able to talk while I work out.
It's so true. It's another level when you have to like kind of be coordinating on the music and then talk at the same time. Yeah. Speak to us a little bit. I didn't write that down, but it just popped in my head because you were saying, you clean your diet so much when you were doing those fitness competitions, and yet with 80 Obsession, you got better results with your butt. I think some people might be surprised by how much food they're going to be eating, because we're really not talking about depriving ourselves. Even some of the coaches are nodded right now, and I know I heard that comment like, oh my gosh, like, I'm going to be eating a lot of food. Can you talk to us a bit about that, and maybe just let us know like how important it is to trust the process.
Yeah, look, you guys, there's such a wide range of things that are referred to as food anymore, okay? And unfortunately, more often than not, what people are eating doesn't really qualify as food, okay? So when you think about like the center aisles of a grocery store and all the boxed goods and processed goods and that sort of thing, they're food products, but I wouldn't exactly classify them as food. They're not whole foods. They have been processed. So when you eat things like that, you probably eat less. They're more filling. They sit heavier. You probably gain weight faster. So you're like, I can't eat anything. But when you're eating whole foods in their real form, nutrient-dense foods, you can eat a lot more because they're not loaded with additives and preservatives and sugar and byproducts and all these other things. When you're eating an apple, you're just eating an apple. When you're eating broccoli, it's just broccoli. There's not a whole lot of calories in there, but there's a whole lot of nutrients in there. So you get to eat more of it. And your body knows what to do with that stuff. It recognizes it. Your cells are very smart. Our bodies are the smartest machine that's ever been made. Okay. They know what to do with real food. What happens is when you put the fake and the processed stuff in and your body doesn't know what to do with it, that's where disease starts to come from, be it anything from diabetes to like blood pressure issues and things like that, to just fat stores. Your body doesn't recognize a chemical, and it's like, well, I don't know what to do with this. So it just stores it somewhere. Instead of processing it, using it for what it needs, and then eliminating the rest. So you do get to eat more food, but that shouldn't scare you. It should excite you and make you feel like, yeah, I'm not going to starve. Like for once, I don't have to starve. Oh my God, I'm eating every 2 hours or every 3 hours. That's fantastic. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I talk to in a day where they're like, oh, I don't eat anything until 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, I would die. Like literally, I would die. I go 4 hours without eating and I can't see straight. So embrace the fact that you get to eat food and that it's going to be nourishing your body when you are eating it, and that you don't have to worry that it's hindering your results. It's there to aid you. I know a lot of people are like, there's this huge question, obviously, we'll just hit on it really quick, about the people who work out really early in the morning and this whole pre-workout meal. And so many people are like, I don't want to eat before my workout at 5 a.m. and I'm used to not eating. And that's fine. That's something that you're used to. It doesn't mean it's the best. And it doesn't mean it's going to be the best for this particular program. This particular program, the workouts are much longer. This particular program, the workouts are much harder. You need fuel. If the last time you ate was dinner the night before, it's probably going on 10, 11, 12 hours of not putting fuel in your system. And then you're going to go try to do an hour-long workout that's intense. You might get through it, but you're not going to get through it with the strength that you would have if you put a little fuel in your body. You're not going to get through it with the endurance that you would have. And you're going to be tapping into your muscle supply at some point because your body's going to start looking to pull energy from somewhere. So when it comes to this early pre-workout, for my early morning people, this pre-workout meal, I need everybody to breathe. Okay. The 60 to 90 minute, I tell you, eat 60 to 90 minutes before your workout. Most people, if they don't wait that long, they will get sick, right? Like they'll feel like they're going to throw up. They'll get nauseous if they eat and go right into an intense workout. So that's why there's that 60 to 90 minute recommendation for the pre-workout meal. Okay. Any other time in the day, like let's say you work out in the afternoon or at night. Well, you're following time nutrition anyway. So you're spacing your meals out every 2 to 3 hours, and you're going to space your meal out so that you have time to digest before your workout. It's only the early morning people that are like, wait, what? I got to get up this early? No, you don't. If you're anything like me, I can eat a big meal. You guys would be shocked at what my breakfasts look like. I can finish my last bite, walk right into my gym and start my workout. And honestly, that's where I'm the most fueled. That's where I feel the best. If I were to eat, wait an hour and start my workout, I'll get hungry midway through my workout. I have a fast metabolism and my blood sugar drops quickly. So I can't wait an hour. I never do. But that's also why I've given you guys, you have your pre-workout meal, but you also have the option to sub in meal 1, which is a much smaller meal. It's a red, it's a purple, for some it's a red, purple, green, or red, purple, green teaspoon. That can be a much lighter meal. That could be your Shakeology. That could be a little bit of Greek yogurt with a banana. Saute up spinach. You guys know how much spinach fits in a green container. Like the second you cook it down, it's like 2 bites. So you can make excuses as to why you can't and stay where you've been and have the results that you've always had. Or you can trust the program that I've put out for you and you can adjust. And you're going to hear me say it in the program a lot in the workouts. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, okay? I'll say, I'm going to push you. I'm going to push you outside your limits for a reason. I don't say these catchphrases like, oh, if you want something you've never had, do something you've never done, just to say them, just for you guys to make fun memes about them. I say it because it's real, right? Like if you're sitting here right now, if you're listening to this call and there's any part of you that you're like, I want to change anything, and that's why you're taking on 80-day obsession, then you have to change whatever you've been doing. So if you've been doing 30 minutes workouts, it's time to do maybe a 60-minute workout. If you've been eating a certain way, maybe it's time to change your eating. If you haven't been eating before your workouts and giving your body fuel, maybe it's time to see what it's like when you do give your body fuel. Maybe you adjust your workout to later in the evening instead of first thing in the morning. Try it. Don't go through life so stubborn and stuck in one way and then be miserable about the way that you're stuck, but not willing to change, right? Like, because people do that all the time. They complain and complain and complain, but they won't do anything to change their circumstance. So there's definitely options. You don't have to wait 60 to 90 minutes before that meal. You can eat 5 minutes before if you can handle it without throwing up. That's all. You can sub in the other meal option. And you guys, worst case scenario, let's say you are the person who's like, no, Autumn, I'm working out at 5 a.m. and I'm just not eating beforehand. Okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not going to ruin your results. I think you'll have better results if you do it my way. But if you're going to do it that way, then fine, that's your choice. And you start following your time nutrition as soon as you finish your workout, right? But you don't have to throw the whole program in the trash over one meal. And that's what I've seen people say, well, I can't do it because I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. Okay, well, don't get up at 3 a.m. You can still do the program. Just start the nutrition however you've been doing it, and then jump on the time nutrition as soon as you can. So if you really want to, you'll find a way to make it work.
Thank you. We could stop the call right now, but I'm going to keep you for a few extra minutes. Since we have you here. I mean, you said it all. So thank you so much for that. Question about the meal plan still. I mean, Kelly was touching base on it, but we've already answered that we might change plan throughout the program because we're going to recalculate in phase 2, phase 3. But I did get one question from one of my coaches today. Ev, are you there, Eve? I'm going to ask you a question. So she was saying, let's say someone is really on the edge of being in between. Like, let's say they're like 50 calories more, and so they fall into plan C. Given that they might lose, weight in the first week, should they try to recalculate right away, or just like don't go crazy, try to like manipulate the meal plan and just trust it and then do the whole month sticking, even though if you're just like 20 calories over?
It doesn't matter if you're 20 calories, 1 calorie, or 50 calorie. Wherever you fall is where you fall.
Perfect.
So that being said, this program is one of those programs. Yes, first of all, we do recalculate in phase 2, at the start of phase 2, and the formula changes a little bit. So make sure you look at the formula for phase 2. And then you use that same formula for phase 3 as well. But this is a program where, let's say, your goal is to lose 15 pounds. And so you start with the weight loss formula and it puts you in plan B, okay? You're going to start in plan B. And let's say 3 weeks into the program, you're like, man, okay, I lost a little bit of weight, but not as much as I would have expected. And I'm hungry all the time and I'm kind of angry all the time. Like I'm really irritable. I'm not really sure what's going on. chances are you might need to move up a plan, which is shocking to some people when they're like, well, I don't want to move up because I want to lose weight. This is one of those things where it would take much longer than the time I have on the call to sort of explain the science behind it. But when you're working out this hard, when you're building this much lean muscle, you have got to fuel your body, because if you're not, it needs that fuel to help repair your muscles and recover your muscles from these workouts. And if you're not giving it enough fuel, it will hold on to everything you give it so that it can try to do the job it needs to do. I can give you guys an example. I think Emily knows this example. I think I talked about it in the original test group. When we started the program, myself and the background cast, we did a special test. It's called a DEX scan. They're not expensive. You can get them anywhere. But it's a more in-depth scan of your entire body to tell you your body fat to your lean muscle tissue, and it's much more accurate than any other scan out there, or any other way of telling your body fat percentage. So myself and the background cast, we did these scans, and we did them like 3 days before we started the program, end of phase 1, end of phase 2, end of phase 3, to see what our progress was. Now, when we started the program, I weighed 175 pounds, which is light for me. That's a little too light. I was coming off of an injury. I had like sprained my hip complex, and I didn't work out at all for 3 weeks. So I lost some muscle mass. Okay. So I was 107.5 pounds, and I was 21% body fat, which is considered athlete level body fat at my age. Okay. By the end of the program, now, PS, my goal was not to lose weight. My goal was to get back to my standard weight, which is like 109, 110. That's like my pretty average weight for me. By the end of the program, I weighed 111 and I was at 18% body fat. So if I only went by the number on the scale, people would be like, oh my God, she gained 3.5 pounds. Like, that's going to freak me out if I gain 3.5 pounds. But I lost 3% body fat. So I traded fat for lean muscle, right? Like, that's huge. That is a big deal. And I bring that up because I eat in plan C. I always eat in plan C. Even though my calculation, if I were to follow weight loss, I would fall in plan A. If I follow maintenance, I'm at the very top of plan B. But for me, because I like to keep a little more size on my body, I eat just barely above my maintenance because I'm naturally smaller and I naturally have a harder time keeping lean muscle on my body. Okay. So I just know myself, obviously, that sort of thing. But I say it because a lot of people who wanted to lose weight and were eating in their weight loss formula eventually got to the point where they had to move up to maintenance. And when they moved up to maintenance, they actually lost more weight because they finally gave their body enough fuel for it to let go of the fat. Hopefully that makes sense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Totally. Thank you so much for that example. It makes a lot of sense. And, we see these examples and we're like, we always talk about the number on the scale is not exactly what we should be looking at. And that's just a great example of what it is. And I didn't know those DEX scans were not expensive because I checked them out and I didn't see any price or anything. So I'm definitely like more interested to get it done.
Here they're not. Here in the US, they're like $40, $50.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm definitely checking that. Damon and I might just go do that and we'll see what it does to our body.
You can watch to do it like once a month over the course of 80 days and to really see because it'll tell you in every area of your body, you lost this much body fat in your arm. You gained this much lean muscle in your arm. You lost this much in your stomach. You gained this much, it tells you all the areas. So it's really cool.
Very interesting. Question about breastfeeding. Is it the same as like 21-day fix? Would you just say add 500 calories to the calculation?
So it was supposed to be in the guide. I noticed that there's a few things missing, and it happens, where nobody's perfect, and it will get added into the guide over the next week or two. Just because, like I said, so basically for breastfeeding moms, you do the first half of the calculation and you just don't subtract the 750. So essentially you just do the maintenance formula calculation. You don't have to add 500 back in. Just do the maintenance formula and you're going to be at the exact right spot that you need to be at least starting off. If you notice your milk supply dropping, or if you notice that you're still really hungry or something like that, then you need to bump up, obviously. But just doing the maintenance formula will essentially put you at the same place it would put you if you went through the whole formula and added 500 back on.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Someone is asking about if you're pregnant. I wouldn't be doing an 80-day obsession.
80-day obsession just isn't for my pregnant ladies. And I'm sorry, I know, like, I love that you guys are excited about it. There's just too many things with the program and the intensity of the program that just wouldn't be safe to do.
I love Country Heat. Well, when I was pregnant, I did 21 Day Fix too, and that was perfect for me. You know, Country Heat came out like when I was at the end of my pregnancy. I was like, yay! I'm gonna dance it off. Great timing.
That's right.
Okay, let me see what I had here. Oh yeah, this question I think is good, and I know you're gonna leave us soon. So I think I wanted to ask you, what would you say are the most important things that coaches should know so they can coach their customers like in the best way? Like a few things you'd say, okay, this is really important, because I know I was blessed enough to have you, and then there's a lot of coaches that will have you during the test group, but for right now, maybe prep week, what are a few things that you would like to tell us?
I think first and foremost, you guys should all print out the start here guide. You should print out every bracket, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or E, F, the vegan brackets, the container list, right? Like if I was you, I would have like an 80-day obsession binder, but I would read those materials, right? I would highlight certain things. I would make sure I'm reading the small print, because these are the things that these are the questions people are going to have, right? It's in there, but nobody everybody likes to sort of skim the materials instead of like really reading them. And if they really read them, they would be more comfortable in the program and in the process, especially with the nutrition guide. Okay. So as a coach, one, I would read it so that I could answer those questions. Two, so that I could guide my challenger to where the answer is, because you don't want to handhold, you want to make them sort of do it themselves too, because that's how they become successful. So I would know that guide like the back of my hand. I would be watching all the videos that are getting posted for on BOD for learning the program, right? Because it's different to hear me walk you through it than it is just to read the materials. So I would read the materials and I would watch the video so that I really understood it. I would be watching the weekly obsession videos so that you know, what did Autumn and the cast go through that week? Like, what are the struggles going to be? I would make sure you're following me on all my social media stuff, because I'm on my Instagram story, right? Like, oh, here's a demo of how to use the loops properly or how to keep them from rolling, right? And just having all of that knowledge. But I think the biggest thing is making sure that your challengers understand, like, I love that everybody wants to do the program perfectly into a T, okay? And it would be great if we all could do everything in life perfectly into a T. But that's not real life. And chances are you're not going to be 100% perfect with the program. And that's okay. The goal is to follow it as closely as possible to the way it's written to get the best results. But for somebody who's working out first thing in the morning, who might feel like, oh my God, I'm not going to get the best, like, tell them, Autumn said it, you're going to be okay. You're still going to get amazing results, right? You're going to just do the best you can. And even with the workouts, because when they get into these workouts and they are longer and they are more intense and the bands are rolling up on them and they are like, oh, Autumn's doing more than I am, or I have to modify the modifier. You want to make sure that they know that any and all of that is normal and is perfectly okay, and that they are still going to get great results. And if you're a coach that isn't planning on actually doing the program right now, maybe you're pregnant and it's not the right time, maybe you're finishing another program, whatever it might be, in order to coach your challengers to the best of your ability, I would still go through the program as if you were doing it. Meaning I would watch the workout every single day. Like I would just make that a part of my day and say, like, I need to know what happened in that workout, because this is different, right? There's 80 workouts. I say different things in every single workout. I talk about what you might be experiencing in your body in every workout. I talk about what's happening with the nutrition plan and where we're at and refeed days and all that stuff. And as a coach, if you haven't watched that day and that workout, and then your challenger asks you a question, you're not going to be properly equipped to answer it, because you're not going to know what they're referencing. So even if you're not going through it physically, I would go through it mentally by watching it, reading it, and knowing it, so that I could coach somebody to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Sorry, I muted myself. I want to make sure I hear you properly. Oh man, we would keep you all night, but we're so thankful for the time that you've taken with us. Maybe just one last question, and that would be the close of the call. And I would like to hear you about, or whatever you want to add, really, that you would like to share with us. Maybe what you're most excited about for what's coming for all of us.
You guys, first of all, I'm just so excited. I'm excited that it's finally out, right? Like it's here. You guys have the nutrition plan. You guys have a little obsessed. We're less than a week away from the actual launch. I'm at the office today. That's where I'm sitting at right now because I've been in meetings all day. And it's so fun to be at the office right now and to hear the buzz that's going around and like to go from meeting to meeting and for them to be like, we broke this record and we broke that record. And because that tells me how excited you guys are for something and how excited you guys are for a change and to take on a challenge, because that's what it is. And I think that we've really promoted it as such. So like, I don't think anybody's going into it blind thinking like, oh, this is going to be easy. So I am excited. I'm so excited for the huge coach test group and to take this many coaches through it, because me being able to take this many coaches through it, like in a very organized, confined way, just ensures that you guys are going to be able to go out there and help that many more people with it. So I'm excited about all of it. I'm excited for the start of 2018. I love that you guys are just so excited and passionate about it. And I think it's going to be a really great, amazing start to the year for everybody.
I think now we just can't sleep and we'll just be like praying for Monday to come faster. Seriously.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Let me tell you guys one thing in case you don't know this. The workouts will actually go live on Saturday the 13th. Okay. Now, that's the reason for that is for people who have like spotty Wi-Fi that want to download workouts to their phone or whatever. But obviously we want everybody hopefully to start on January 15th on Monday with us. But I say it just so that you guys aren't like, oh my God, wait, they're up? What? Or, like,
yeah,
just know that they'll be up. And if you have challengers who are like, oh, I have spotty Wi-Fi, how do I get it? Hopefully they on Saturday or Sunday can get to a spot where they can download the first week of workouts and be ready to go.
That's very thoughtful, very smart, and that's a great idea to do that. I'm sure there's a lot of people that will be cheating on Saturday, Sunday, but in a good way, just to get even more excited. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you. I think we're going to be like chatting all night about how excited we are, and merci beaucoup. We hope to see you in Quebec again very soon.
Yes, me too. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you in the coach test group tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.